Want to know a pretty shocking salary loophole today that companies definitely don't want you to know about? Discover a secret negotiation trick that will allow you to increase your salary by over 20K. When you first got your job offer, you knew the proposed pay was way too low based on your experience and qualifications, and perhaps you didn't want to just accept it. You, as with everyone else, wanted to get paid what you're truly worth. I'm going to reveal the salary loophole that recruiters don't want you to know about. I'll break down exactly what you need to do to boost your salary in 13 easy steps. We'll cover researching averages so you can justify higher pay, citing your qualifications and accomplishments, scheduling the negotiation call, how to lead with confidence and gratitude, and when to walk away if needed. But you have to watch until the end, because I'm going to give you an example of how I used it that will blow your mind. And if you're looking to get paid what you're really worth, you do not want to miss this. Here are the steps to negotiate a higher salary. Let's begin. Step 1, research stage. The first step is researching salary ranges. So you have ammunition for your negotiation. Conduct an in-depth search on sites like PayScale and Glassdoor to find averages for the role in your location. What typical salaries are at companies of similar size in their industry? This is when you may discover something significant. You have way more experience than what was required. For example, if this person had been in digital marketing for 7 years at various levels of leadership, whereas the job listing only asked for 3 to 5 years. On top of that, they had a certificate that less than 5% of people in their field obtain. So when you went into the negotiation armed with average salaries, you should also emphasize how your unique background of experience and qualifications made them more valuable. You could cite things like their location, years of experience that exceeded the requirements, technical skills, and education. This is when, they have major leverage to ask for a higher salary. Step 2, prepare justification. All right. So you've done your research and know you're worth more. But how do you actually convince the company to pay you what you deserve? This is where step 2 comes in, preparing your justification. When you got your last job offer, you knew you had to make yourself impossible to say no to. So you compile a list of every major accomplishment you had that proves your value. Things like how you increased sales by 35% in your previous role through strategic campaign launches, or the time you swooped in and saved a huge client from jumping ship by reworking your entire customer service process. You choose 2 of your most impressive achievements to highlight. Then you get quantitative. You talk dollar amounts, percentages increased, and actual volume impacts. Recruiters love concrete numbers. The key is having solid examples to back up why you're an asset worth retaining and worth spending more money on. Don't just state you're great. Show what problems you can solve for them. You also rehearse your spiel with your partner until you have it down perfectly. Going into that negotiation, you'll be feeling confident as hell. Step 3, schedule discussion. This is another key step. You want to have the salary conversation verbally rather than just over email. So in my case, once I got the offer, I emailed the hiring manager, something like, I wanted to discuss the compensation package further. Are you available for a phone call tomorrow afternoon? Set it up as soon as you can while the iron's hot, and suggest a video call if possible, so you can read each other's body language. This shows you're ready to get down to business. It also prevents any miscommunication that could happen over email. Text negotiations are risky. Step 4, lead with gratitude. All right, it's finally time for the call. But before you dive into demands, lead with appreciation. When my negotiation call started, I made sure to express how excited I was about the role in their company. I genuinely thanked them for the opportunity and for finding value in my background. This sets the right tone. You want them to feel positively inclined towards you. People are usually more open to helping those they simply like. Step 5, ask for top of range. It's a negotiation time, but if you come out too strongly, you'll spook them. Your trick is to give a range instead of a single number. Psychologically, recruiters will focus on the lower end, but this leaves room to compromise in your favor. You had researched that the average pay for your role was $95K to $105K. However, you knew your background warranted more. So you say something like, based on my experience, I'm looking for a salary in the range of $105K to $110K. Does that align with what you had budgeted? By providing that slight buffer, even if they come back at $105K, you still feel good about it being within your goals. The key is making sure the bottom number meets your minimum. Don't go below what you're comfortable with. Step 6, share additional costs. All right, guys, when you throw out your salary range, and you could tell the employers are hesitant, that's when you deploy another sneaky tactic. You bring up additional costs that the new job would require for you to accept. You could mention that relocating across state lines would mean huge moving expenses. You also have to consider childcare costs in a higher cost of living area. Believe it or not, this little nugget of information totally changes the dynamics. It's like you flip a switch in their brains. Suddenly, the hiring manager will be much more receptive to a higher salary if it means offsetting your relocation costs. They realize it will take more to get you in the door, even if relocation isn't an issue. Think about other expenses like equipment, parking, or any fees the job may require. Employers don't want costs to be a deal breaker. Step 7, prepare for tough questions. Get ready because salary negotiations can get heated. Employers may ask you tough questions to call your bluff, like, do you have another offer? Or what's your absolute minimum? When they hit you with these, you need to be prepared. You should anticipate that it could come up and practice staying composed. Your responses need to be truthful but vague. For example, when asked about other offers, you can simply say, I'm keeping my options open, but am excited about this opportunity. And to the minimum question, respond with confidence, like, based on my research and experience, I believe the fair market range is XX to Y. You have to be calm and redirect the discussion to focus on your qualifications instead of sounding desperate. Step 8, be flexible. By now, they may be resisting your salary request, but don't lose hope because there are still ways to close the deal in your favor. If they're unwilling to increase the actual pay, be willing to consider other perks. Things like extra paid time off, an education stipend, or a laptop and phone can still sweeten the pot. Studies show benefits are just as valuable to employees as salaries. When negotiations stalled for me, I brought up the idea of an extra week of PTO since I'd be relocating. Suddenly, they perked up at this alternative solution. Companies have more room to budge on perks than salary, since it doesn't affect their books the same way. Don't be afraid to get creative here. As long as the total offer increases your quality of life, who cares if it comes as pay or perks? Step 9, ask clarifying questions. It's time to gather intel. At this stage, asking clarifying questions can be hugely beneficial. Questions help you understand the employer's constraints and where there may be wiggle room, rather than assumptions. Facts will help guide your negotiation. When you hit a stalemate on salary, ask pointed yet polite questions. What parts of the budget are firm versus flexible? What are the typical salary ranges for this role? The answers will empower your next move. Don't be afraid to ask for more info. Hiring managers will respect your effort to find win-win solutions. Step 10, don't get rattled. This is the most important negotiation skill. No matter what tactics the employer throws at you, keep your cool. If they resist or counter aggressively, don't show frustration or start stuttering. That's a sign of weakness. When my manager bluntly said, their offer was fine now, I didn't get rattled. Instead, I responded confidently that as a valued candidate, I'm sure we can work something out. Maintain a solution-focused attitude, not a confrontational one. Say something polite like, help me understand your perspective to open new possibilities. Getting emotional will sabotage all your hard work. Breathe, smile, and refuse to engage in unproductive power struggles. Step 11. Have alternative. Make sure you enter the final stages armed with an alternative. Never be so desperate for a role that you settle far below your worth. Have a minimum salary that you're absolutely not willing to budge past. Know your skills and justify the 110K minimum. You can convey to the manager that you're ready to sign today, if you can get there, but you can also consider other options if needed. This shows confidence that you have leverage regardless of the outcome, and it inspires the employer to use their full authority to keep a great candidate. However, remain upbeat and say, you understand if budget restraints prevent an agreement. A calm and cordial wrap-up leaves the door open down the road. With your clear alternatives established, you'll be ready for their final counter. Step 12. Follow up promptly. You're almost at the end of your negotiation, but there's still one key step to securing the outcome. Even after ending the call, promptly follow up with a thank you email. Express gratitude for their time and consideration. Professionally recap the main points covered, including the next steps discussed, like revised offer, details, or timeline. This leaves a clear record and holds them accountable. Sending your note within 24 hours really helps. It signals that this opportunity is still a top priority while keeping communication fresh. A prompt thank you also prevents misunderstandings or details from slipping through the cracks. Hiring decisions rarely happen right away, so keeping your name at the forefront is important. Step 13. Consider your options. You've come so far in your negotiation, but don't make a hasty decision on the employer's terms. Taking time to fully review the final details is crucial. Carefully go over all components of the compensation package: salary, bonus structure, benefits, PTO, and everything should align with your initial goals. Look for any room left to push back respectfully if something seems off still. Your alternative options are valuable leverage here too, and you have every right to request a day or two to consider everything before giving a final answer. This shows you're not desperate, but doing due diligence. Remember, you hold the power as a top candidate. Don't feel rushed into a decision you may later regret. Make sure all boxes are definitively checked off. We hope the inside tips on researching your worth, preparing justification examples, addressing cost calmly, and asking clarifying questions have you feeling confident enough to negotiate your salary. Remember, you are valuable, so go get the compensation you deserve. Leave a comment below on how you plan to negotiate your offer, and be sure to like and subscribe for more career advice content. We wish you all the best in your upcoming work. Now, get out there and get paid what you're worth.